Well, hello there. We're going to go for a bit of a walk down a bush track and go and visit an old friend, I hope. I better grab my BOAC bag and a great big stick. Warning. The warning has been removed from this very educational video because today's YouTube can't handle a warning about a spider video. Before we get going in this video, I've got something to ask you. You need to go back and look at the video prior to this one. I'm asking you here because I know the subscriber feed on YouTube is busted and only some of my subscribers would have been sent that last video. I need as many people as possible to watch what's going on. It's about my big spider attacks daddy video and how YouTube/Google have been treating me in the whole demonetization process. And believe me, once you watch this video, you're going to start to understand why video producers on YouTube are getting so angry. There's information that I disclosed in that video that I never ever wanted to bring to YouTube. I know some people have been leaving comments saying they feel cheated now they understand what's going on. But I say directly back to them, just imagine how cheated I'm feeling considering what's gone on with that video, especially in the way Google used it to their advantage. I'm getting more and more of my Redback Spider study videos flagged, and what I'm finding is if I do win an appeal after a flag, within days the video is reflagged, and by the time something is double flagged or double demonetized, there's never a way back. My channel is in crisis. I feel the YouTube systems are totally out of control. I'm going to ask you to please help me here and send on the link through your feeds, your social media, whatever, of my story about how the Big Spider Attacks Daddy video has been treated, and believe me, it is a worthwhile video to watch. In my 11 years on this site, I've never asked you to subscribe. I've never asked you to go and click on a link or go and buy something, but this time, please, I'm asking you to help me here. And if you help me, my goodness, I am totally thankful to the absolute bottom of my heart. The link to my previous video is at the top of the info area of this video, but I dare say this Redback Spider study in time will be flagged just like all the others. Okay, let's do it. I'll be honest with you, I was nearly not going to make this video, but curiosity got the better of me, and hopefully it will have the better of you as well once we end up at my destination. Point of interest, it was this spot here about a year ago where I spotted one of the largest golden orb spiders that I've ever seen in my life. Now strangely this year I can't see any sign of her, and if I have my camera in that direction there, well, she would have been right in the middle of the screen. Man, she's nowhere to be seen. This is like the flip side view of where that giant spider was. What does seem different to me is that tree in the middle of the screen there seems taller, but then again, sometimes your mind plays games on you. Anyway, I will proceed carefully down this trail here because it's got these little roly-poly rocks that make you trip over. When you're walking along a bush track, often there's telltale signs of what's been going on. You can see how busy it is. I can see a footprint there. I can also see what it looks to be BMX bike tracks there. I don't think it's motorbike. And I can also see another large footprint here. And the good news for me is that's headed out. So if that person was an axe murderer, well, hopefully they're out of the park. Okay, I'm right near the spot. Well, where I'm headed is down to where I released that Redback Spider into the bush. I think my son called it John Cena. It was an amazing Redback Spider. It took out basically everything that it was up against, and the car wreck where I released that spider is right there. And it's going to be quite curious to see what we find here. I'm definitely going to put some of these on for this discovery mission. Okay, I've got the gloves on. It feels good. I'm just going to traverse the camera over the car wreckage area here. To me, it feels like the vegetation is a little bit more intense this year. I've got to be a bit careful initially, just in case there's any snakes around, because, well, it's a sort of place where they like to hide. I bought that stick along because if I poke things, hopefully if there is a snake here, it's going to take off. Snakes hopefully tend to be more scared of you than you of them. But I don't want to scare things too much because I'm looking for a spider. And I don't think I'm going to see the female I left here, although miracles may happen, but I dare say I'm going to see the offspring from the egg sacs that I left here. And from what I can see going on there, it is absolutely riddled with Redback Spider web activity. Totally riddled. Wherever I put my camera there, I can see their web. Here's a much smaller piece of the car wreck here. I can see what would be juvenile Redback Spider web all through here. Because it's daylight, the chances of really seeing the spider, I think, is going to be fairly slim, and there's all sorts of places where the spider can recluse into that. Ooh, yes. I dare say the audience will see things that I don't see. Ooh, scary, isn't it? I can see a very peculiar ant there. It's right in the middle of the screen. I don't want to get too much closer. Scouting around there. Where I left the John Cena Redback, I do believe it was in this zone here. Maybe I'll start just very carefully turning some stuff over here. And we're looking for a spider, okay? Ugh. I can see a juvenile redback there. It's right in the middle of the screen. It is extremely small. Okay, it's just sitting in the web there. And that spider is there. Okay, and the more I look here, wow, the more web that I can see. There is stacks and stacks of this redback spider web all through here. I'm pretty sure that that section there is actually a car door. It's like the frame of a car door. I hope I'm correct there. I'm just noticing in the corner of my eye, those big ants are everywhere here. I don't know what they are, but I'm just going to try and move some things here, and you watch me get bitten by a spider or something. I'm wondering whether I can just spin this piece over. You never know what I'm going to find. Wow! Okay, there's that piece turned over, and I am saying it's a car door. And I've just seen something that I can identify, and I know exactly what that is, and I'll come in closer on it. I'll zoom in a bit there. Yes, that's a redback spider egg sac there. Whether it's the one that I left here, I've forgotten how many I left down here. I don't know, but I certainly know what that is. It's quite large, so it's from a large spider. It may well be the one I left here. And the thing about that egg sac, you know what I noticed about it? It is empty. Finding the egg sac there, that might be part of the mystery solved. Let me move this piece away. I can't see any spiders. And thankfully I can't see any snakes yet. I just noticed on this very rusty metal here, I haven't got my tetanus shots, although I've got gloves on, I can see the redback spider web. And I'm thinking if I flip this up, maybe I'll see a spider. Or maybe I won't. They can be fairly elusive little things at the best of times. And again, there is one of those extremely pretty and very, very menacing looking ants. They can actually move very fast. Oh, I'm getting out of here. I'm a bit curious to flip this piece of metal over here. There's a lot of rust and stuff going on here, and I also noticed those ants were going underneath here as well. If I upset the ant nest, I'll be out of here so fast, it's not funny. Well, I've seen some weird red thing in there. Well, that's definitely one of life's little mysteries, whatever that is. Has me thinking, is that thing alive or what is that? One of the mysteries of when you go, oh my goodness me. It's weird. Has to be one of the strangest and most prettiest things that I've seen in my life. Wow, magical. It's just, it's got me totally mesmerised, that thing. It's it just reminded me one of the beauties of coming down and taking a look through things you normally don't look through. You just find some very interesting things. Mind you, we are looking for a redback spider. Maybe I'll move this part next. I've got to move some of the mangle here. That's part of the door frame, I believe, from the door. I think it was a large car, this car. I've just lost some important spider web that I wanted to show you that was around that wheel there. Let me get rid of that. And I might move this bumper, which to me says like, you know, car from the 70s era. It's heavy as well, back when they made cars correctly, eh? Okay, this is the whole suspension strut. I think they call that a McPherson strut. Well, or am I just making it up? You're going to believe me or not. Yeah, I can see redback spider web all through here. Okay, but there's plenty of places to recluse down there. Now, the other thing I'm a bit wary of was there was a spider wasp around here as well when I visited here a year back. I'm just going to try and flip this out of here. Just being a little bit careful because you never know what's around, do you? There. That's where that wheel was. In my stumblings here, yeah, well, I'm not, well, I'm finding spider web, I'm not finding spider, which sort of doesn't surprise me, but does surprise me. I'll traverse up a bit further here. Watch me fall over and faceplant myself into rusty metal. And we'll take a look at the engine block here. Well, okay, I have found really what I wanted to find, and really the purpose of this video. We let go a Redback Spider here a year ago, and we wondered, well, what's going to happen? Well, coming up right in the middle of frame here, I dare say part of that what's going to happen is being revealed. Now, the way, as I remember it when I came down here to release John Cena, Mrs Redback Spider, this car wreckage here didn't show any real classic signs of redbacks. Mind you, I always said that this is a sort of zone that they're going to love to live in. Okay, it's time to dig into the spider zone. Yes, I do have my tweezers on me for this expedition. I can see 3 redback spider eggs. They are the size of what would be a very mature redback spider. That one there is opened up, as you can see. I think the others have been opened up going by the colour of them, because they're nice and light coloured. Mind you, I am curious to take a look at this one here, if I can just very carefully bring it out. Well, I'll just put it on my BOAC bag here. I can tell you this, that thing is totally empty. When they're empty, they're as light as a feather. They are beautifully structured things. They are very strong. Yes, so that's a sign that there's been some big breeding going on in the car wreck. Yeah, they're quite amazing. The slightest breeze and they take off, and they're as light as a feather. It's just stunning, really, and I can just blow it away, I hope. There it's gone. I'll just head back to the engine bay area here, and the exposure is going to go like crunchy, crunchy, crunch. Okay. Apart from where the redbacks are set up in there, which I'm not surprised at all, I can also see this structure here, and I can only assume it's either ant or possibly wasp. Whatever it is, it's well, it's a thing of nature. Maybe termite as well. Oh, I wonder what that is. Maybe it's best if we don't know, eh? Audience will probably tell me what that is, but weird. I noticed in the previous videos when I looked at this car wreck, lots of people were discussing what sort of car is it. Well, the engine, I can tell you this, it's 6-cylinder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and because it's in a straight line, it's a 6-cylinder straight engine. I'm not that classy in identifying what's, is it the Holden or General Motors for my people overseas, or, is it a Chrysler thing? I'm not sure. Maybe by seeing the bumper bar and other bits of the car, it starts to ID it, but really there's really not much left of the car at all to tell you what it is. There's the rear wheel on the car, and sometimes the stud pattern that you find on that can explain the make of car. That piece of metal there is the roof of the car. In essence, what's in frame there would be the front windscreen. I'm just trying to paint you a picture of the car. I know it's a little bit hard to tell. That is one of the wheels, so the McPherson strut going down to the thing. That's the side fender. Okay, the other side fender sort of blown away, and I think it's down there. All rusted out, okay. That section there is the bonnet, I believe. Okay, and there's bits of car door and everything else around here. Of course, this down here is the engine and became the spider home. I always said the spiders would love this zone, and I hopefully have picked it out right. And there's a bit of, the bars for the suspension laying about, and bits that would have been, underneath the front of the car, I believe, is that there. Yeah, hopefully I've painted you a picture of the car. What I do find interesting is when I look up the back there to the rear of the car, I can't see much spider web at all. The redback spider web to me is very obvious. Just looking at that section there, I can't really see any here, but as I move towards the area where I released Mrs John Cena Spider, that's where I start to see the spider activity. I think the most activity is obviously the engine bay there, and when I was looking around these parts here, which I will carefully drag back into place. Just back on wheel studs and IDing cars, I think it's the distance between the studs that define a brand. I know I'll be correct on this, and this is going to be heavy to get back, but I want to try and get this tidy again. I know that sounds stupid, but I want to put things back where I found them. And I just saw a Redback Spider doing a bolt. Okay, let me see if I can see it by turning this over. There it is there, or I saw a spider, okay. Actually, it's not a Redback. Whatever that thing there is, doing the bolt, okay, so it's probably hunting down Redback spiderlings. I think that's a wolf spider, I think. I'll be corrected if I'm wrong. And really, in seeing that, this whole area is totally alive with little critters. Just gently putting that back. And this is the door section here. There's part of the window winder thing there that slides on that part there. I'll put that back where it was as well. And this section here, which would have been part of the engine bay, because that's where the suspension strut would go up into. Okay, now I'll just put that back where it was before. And I think that piece lived there somewhere. I noticed on the car bonnet, it looks to be tagged or something by spray paint. It looks like the word "it," which is starting to really worry me. And, you know, one part of me is very curious to just flip this over and see what's underneath. I am worried about Joe Blakes that are called snakes. Maybe I can outrun a snake, maybe I can't. And it's a perfect place where a snake would be hiding under there. It's also very much a spider zone as well. Maybe it's best not to know. I'm actually very, very pleased that I took a little bit of time to come down here and kill my own curiosity about what's going on around the car wreck. What I witnessed was where I left Mrs John Cena and her egg sacs. I do believe I found one of the old egg sacs there. We saw plenty of spider web here, and also up in the engine bay there, we definitely saw the signs of new spider life and spider generations. If I was really daring and really super stupid, I would come down here at night. I dare say I would see redback spiders hanging in the webs there around the engine bay. And what this really shows you is how adaptive the Australian redback spider is to what is basically a very unnatural environment, which is sort of stuck in their natural environment. Maybe if I take a photo here, it'll give us a geo-fix, or whatever they're called, of exactly where this car wreck is. And if you are going to hunt down this car wreck and take a look at what's going on, just remember this is the area where the offspring are lurking about from one very deadly redback spider. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I left this nice and tidy just as I found it. I dare say it's time to pack my gloves away and pick up my bag and also my big stick for beating off snakes, and have one final look over my shoulder where Mrs John Cena's offspring reside. I dare say they're going to have a lovely little winter time that we're heading into, and I'll head back up the fire trail here. Just as I'm headed out away from the car wreck, I'm going to try and do the impossible here. I'm going to try and find you a redback spider, or should I say it's a spider web, in what is a natural setting. Now, these spiders are very smart for the fact that they've fully adapted to our urban environments, and anything unnatural, that's one of the hallmarks of a redback spider. Okay, I've got my Joe Blake stick here, try and rustle out any snakes that might be around, because it's a sort of territory snakes like as well. And it's a nice rocky outcrop, it's nice and dry, it's nice and warm. This is where those spiders should be. Well, you see the strangest thing, just under a rock here I've found whatever that is there. Ooh, eerie, isn't it? Hey, whatever was in there is out now. I believe it's just empty. And the place where redbacks love to hang out is basically down in this zone here. And put it this way, I can't see any web at all there. It's nice and clean. Okay, you tell me if you can see spider web there. I can't see any. I'm just coming up in the shady area here. It looks pretty clean, doesn't it? Hey, I would have thought I would have been finding some web activity. Another nice hot recluse zone here. You know, the rocks in the sun. There'd be little bugs and all that would be scampering through here. Not a sign of the redback spider. This is the sort of zone where you'd normally find them. Okay, again, nice rock here, nice and warm. It goes into like a cavey area there. God knows what's in there. There is not a scarica spider web here. Mind you, I can see a little bit of a glistening web here. I'm not sure whether you can see it. I can see a little bit of spider activity, but I'm not seeing their classic spider web action, drop down lines and the things that they love to do. Nothing. Here's another zone. I think I could show you many of these. I can't see a trace of any spiders here. You got nice warm rocks there connecting down to the earth here. There'll be bugs and goodness knows what coming through here. No spideys. Okay, maybe I've struck some gold here finally. I've had to look very carefully to see this. And it's underneath this rock here, and I haven't got my gloves on because I'm being lazy now, but this is where I'm going to get bitten. Let me just move some stuff away here, and I want to show you something. Okay, I'm down on the ground of nature here, and I do believe that that web there is very, very small, so it's going to be from a very small spider. I do believe that's Redback Spider web. Maybe I'll turn the camera light on if we can see what's going on in the dark there. Well, now I'm looking up under the rock there. If the light on this camera is on, I can see web, but I can't see any spider. What's that up there? Oh, what is that there? Oh, I don't even know if I can focus on that. It may be an egg sac, I really can't tell. Yeah, maybe that is definitely where redbacks live. I'll tell you what I do see a lot around here, and it's those yellow ants. They are scampering around here everywhere. I call them yellow ants. And I dare say, as I learnt in my backyard, if you've got ants getting about, well, the redbacks tend to struggle against them. Well, there you go. Personally, I feel much richer for going down and quelling my curiosity about what happened with Mrs John Cena Spider and the egg sacs that I put around the car wreck 1 year later. I'm doing this video in the time when I walked away from YouTube. I just got tired of the silliness and the way, well, producers were not being appreciated. My little message back to YouTube was, well, if you don't appreciate me, well, you can forget about me uploading to your silly site. Maybe it's going to get better in time. I really don't know. I often said it's going to take months and possibly years for YouTube to wake up to itself and stop hammering the people who made it great. It's sort of weird, even as I make this video, I just feel like I'm wasting my time uploading onto YouTube. There'll be this sort of argument, oh, but was it educational enough? Oh, can we have this sort of content on the site anymore? I mean, wake up to yourself, YouTube, wake up to yourself. Sorry for sounding so gruff there, but sometimes, you know, I just say it as I see it, and I'm sure many of my audience understand how I feel. Playing in the background as I talk here, I'll show you one of the videos that the John Cena Redback Spider features in. It was my son that called the spider John Cena because everything we put up against this amazing spider, it was able to kill in a very redback spider way. Just to let you know how I started looking at redback spiders, it all started from a major infestation that we had at our place one summer. The spiders are all up inside the Tonka toys, and I thought, oh, there'd be a nice little video to make here as a warning about these spiders on children's toys. Then an American YouTuber that I know called Beanmeister22, and sadly his channel's been annihilated by the ridiculousness of YouTube of today, he suggested to me to make a terrarium to study the spiders, to see the way they breed, and just take a very close look at the way they work. And to my surprise, the little spider study that I did was very enjoyable to do. I spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, many hours putting the spider study videos together. And this study really encompassed many aspects of these spiders and also spider control. And I've found some very nice alternative ways of controlling these spiders and stopping them from setting up in areas where they love to live. I should also emphasize here very strongly, these are actually deadly pests. They're not endangered, they breed up in huge numbers, and they have adapted to urban environments in a way that is actually quite frightening. Maybe what's even more frightening than that is they can get underneath shipping containers, and a single female can go on for hundreds of days without feeding, and she doesn't need a male to keep on breeding and making her spider eggs and egg sacs. And that's how these spiders have been able to jump out of Australia and set up home basically wherever they want. So if you're worried about aliens from outer space coming here and destroying the Earth, I think you're looking in the wrong area. It's the redback spiders that you should be taking a very careful look at. But my biggest personal worry is I have a sneaky suspicion that my redback spider study will eventually collapse my channel. I say this because the redback spider videos will trigger what seems like an endless number of flags, and if I appeal these flagged videos and win the video back, well, within a couple of days the video is reflagged again. I very quickly worked out that I can never win against the system. It really does feel like that YouTube can't get their head around the fact that somebody doesn't do videos in the same fashion as, let's say, Monster Bug Wars or Brave Wilderness or even the Ants YouTuber called Ants Canada. I do it my way. I'd never go out there and mimic another style of YouTuber or YouTube channel's methods. And it really does feel like because I don't fit into the format that they want to see these videos in, I get heavily punished for it. I'm certainly very aware that my redback spider study videos have been very popular on YouTube against YouTube's constant battle to hide these videos away. Lots of people have asked me, Leo, why don't you do Spider Tank number 2 and it'd be a much grander effort? Well, the risk-reward ratio of doing something like that is in the realm of being way too risky. Because, as I said, YouTube are sending me some very strong signals to basically get out the coloured paints, the Play-Doh, and make content for 2-year-olds. Anyway, to get back on track and to stop whinging like a crybaby who has been beaten by the system, I do go back to the car wreck 1 week later. That's after the 1-year revisit. I hope that makes sense. And there are some things that I found on the second visit that I missed on the first visit. The spider breeding had been a little bit more intense than I first thought. Saying first thought very slowly there. In the revisit video, I'll also tell you of my struggle and discovery of putting up pictures which are geo-fixed to the location of the car wreck, because I'm sure that we all want to go and visit Mrs John Cena's offspring. And I'm saying Mrs John Cena because it's a female Redback Spider. Hopefully we all know that John Cena is a male. I hope. Yes, it was quite a discovery and quite some things to read about some old mapping tools and mapping companies and Google Maps and My Maps, and yes, we'll leave that story for another video. I think that's best to do.